Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. It is now time for Inside the 10, where we discuss all the red-hot topics across the game. Welcome, Michael Shamus, Brent Reid, Andrew Webster. Great to see you all again. Let's get started straight away. Some news this morning that Peter V'landys is considering providing salary cap relief for clubs signing rugby union players. What do we make of this? Is the NRL jumping at shadows here?
Oh, I think we are a bit. We've been down this path before, don't we? I think people forget that 15, 20 years ago, we actually had a salary cap exemption if you signed rugby union players. It wasn't, I don't think it was unfettered. I think it had a limit on it, but it never got used. It never got used when we had it before. So I just can't see it. You know, if we bring it in, I don't think clubs will use it. I don't think it will happen because it's not about grabbing rugby union players. It's about stopping rugby league players going to rugby union. That's the issue because we get the best young rugby players. There's not many we don't get at the moment. Young Jorgensen aside, we get most of them. So I don't think it's a big issue. So I think we are. I think we're jumping at shadows a bit.
I think we're definitely jumping at shadows. I think it's one of the silliest things I've heard. I think
really?
The silliest.
You've got a lot of silly things.
Yeah.
You've come up with some of them.
You've written most of them. I reckon. I can't believe the way rugby league has reacted to what's happened with Suaalii. I just think it's not just jumping at shadows. I think it just exposes the game's glass jaw. Like the way that certain officials and clubs have reacted to it shows real insecurity. It's rugby union. Like, I mean, with the greatest respect to our friends at rugby union, it's hardly the biggest threat in the world. The Payne Haas story this week I thought was hilarious. The way that people were questioning that, and if Payne Haas goes to rugby union, I will dead set give it away.
I think you were going to say something even better than that.
But Hamish McLennan,
he's loving it. How much publicity is he getting out of it?
But he's doing it. And full credit to him because he's so aggressive and he's purposely trying to get under rugby league's skin. And if you read his comments to Danny Wider in his column in the Sun Herald today, he almost admits it, you know. And he says to rugby league, "Why are you reacting the way you are?" But it's funny, like when you've been around for a while. I remember going through all this 20 years ago with Rogers, Takiri, and Saylor. Chamas was still in nappies when all this happened 20 years ago, and my mail is he still wears nappies. It's history repeating.
Yeah, good chat. No, to be fair on Hamish McLennan, he's doing to Peter V'landys. This is what Peter's done to the AFL over the last few years, and he's just returning serve. I like it. It's good theatre. But on this topic of the salary cap relief,
is it good theatre?
Yeah, we're talking about it. Yeah, it is good fun, mate. We talk about it. Yeah, the fans. What about when Peter V'landys was having a crack at AFL every second day?
I thought that was boring too.
Yeah, that's funny.
But you know, V'landys was hilarious. I do have a sense of humour.
Relax,
Shut up. Don't touch me. Serenity now. V'landys last week goes, I'm not going to engage in this PR war, this phony PR war over Payne Haas, and then he has to shut up about it.
But it's smart of rugby union at the moment. They're using the NRL and the NRL's crowd and the NRL's, reach to pump up their own brand.
But all right, you look at this. So Vunivalu and Korobidi, who went over from Melbourne, right? And I think they had to because, well, I think the offer from rugby union was 3 times what the Storm could offer them. And they both went over. So what happens now? So they were in league, they've gone to union. Can the Storm get salary cap exemptions to get them back?
It won't be for returning players. It won't be for returning players. It'll be for players who are coming from... Look, it's an opportune time for this story to come out, and Danny wrote the story today, and it's in relation to the Wallabies. But the reason the NRL is thinking about this, it's got nothing to do with the Wallabies. It's those rugby union players or potential athletes from American sports who can't make it, and if the clubs feel as though they've got a pool of money to then look at bringing talent from overseas, it won't be in the salary cap. Just to explore and bring players in.
Well, if they can't make it in rugby union,
all those...
We breach our salary... We ignore the salary cap to go and sign them for rugby league.
All those NFL players who can't make it, they're going to come to Australia.
That's the theory around it. It's not around Wallabies. Well, why did they bring it in 20 years ago then? For that reason?
Well, no one used it.
Well,
it wasn't to get NFL players.
There's a lot, I think, and especially the Pacific Islands, there's an opportunity there to actually take a risk with some players and say, OK, this is not in the salary cap. It's not going to hamstring our pathways and development. Why not? If there's a kid in Samoa or Fiji who we think that is going to be a decent player, he may not turn out that way. Clubs aren't taking risks on those guys at the moment.
Clubs aren't going to pay some unknown kid in Samoa or South Africa or Tonga inordinate amount of money to get him to rugby league.
It's not going to be a huge amount of money. It won't be a huge amount of money, but whatever it's capped at...
They wouldn't even spend a couple of $100 grand on a kid like that. Why would you risk it? Why would you do that?
Well, the rich clubs might.
You think
pays
so?
off in the end. Well,
they can do that now.
If it's not in the salary cap,
they can do it now and put it in the
but
salary cap.
but it goes in the
100
salary
grand,
cap.
200 grand. What's that matter to a club?
every 100, 200
An
grand.
$11.5 million salary cap.
I just think
could
it
be
adds
the
up, but
difference between
it's a
keeping
roster spot.
star.
just think the game has bigger issues to worry about, bigger threats to it, bigger threats to its junior base, bigger threats to bush footy than rugby union.
So we should be putting attention into
100%.
juniors and all that. All right, let's move on now. Jack Whiten has been a very busy man sorting out his future. What is the best move, do you think, for Jack Whiten? We know that he met with the Dolphins. We know that he met with the Bunnies. What do we think?
He's got more gigs than Reedy at the moment.
Oh, you can talk. Please. Are you asking me what I think? Oh, OK. You're coming to me first. Look, I think the Dolphins, if he wants to see change, if he wants to completely get up and change his environment, change where he is in life, I think the Dolphins are the obvious one, if he feels that strongly about it. Because the suggestion is at the end of his career, they're going to move up there anyway. His wife wants to move up there, the family's up there. He'd get coached by Wayne for at least another year. Wayne will be around beyond that. If he wants to leave Canberra, I think for me, look, he's a better chance of winning comp at South. But if he's talking about completely uprooting and changing his lifestyle, which is what we're looking at here, the Dolphins is the logical one for me. I mean, South isn't that big a change for him, I don't think.
I don't think it's a lifestyle thing for him. But my mail's more that he wants to win a comp. I think that's...
Well, then you go to South.
And if that's the case, go to South. And I see benefits in all three. Like, I'd love to see him stay at Canberra. I think he owes them to an extent because Ricky and Donnie Ferner have been so good to him. But, you know, he's got to look after himself. If that's the case and he wants to go and be coached by Wayne and get the money, then go to the Dolphins. But if the offer... It sounds like the offer on the table at South is $1 million less than the other two. The thought of him in that backline playing on the left edge with Cody and Latrell and Alex Johnson, I mean, that's pretty exciting from a South Sydney point of view.
You have to respect the motivation, though. Like, this is not financial at all. He's given up $90,000 in potential Origin payments and potentially $300,000 in a season for what he stands to earn at Canberra to what he would stand to earn at the Rabbitohs. So it's not financial. It's one reason and one reason only, and that's to win a comp. And if that's the case...
Is that the one reason, though?
Well,
isn't
how much of the Dolphins
will
it
was partly a lifestyle thing as well for Jack. He wanted to get out of Canberra and change his life, change his lifestyle for his family. If that's the case, well, he can. But I'm saying
his life.
it's
You
not
can
just about
live by the beach. They're at Maroubra now.
I don't think it's just about winning comps, though, is it?
Are you on the Dolphins recruitment team? What are you doing?
No. Oh, please, hold on.
That's sensitive.
All right,
Are you doing bidding for the Dolphins?
I think it's pretty clear
Whoa.
that he won't be at Canberra. I think we can all safely assume that, even though...
Will the NRL take issue with the fact that he's foregoing $300,000 a year? Because they stepped in with other players before saying you have to sign for market value. And I know the argument is, as a centre, the market value is 800. But do you think the NRL will have an issue or ask the question?
Well, they should let him play. If he wants to go, 800's still a good whack of money.
Exactly.
If he wants to go there and play, like, I mean, it'd be silly for them to try and stop it. The bigger picture for me is what it means for Canberra if he goes, which seems likely. Like, I mean, he leaves a big hole. I know not one player isn't bigger than the club, but for Canberra, you know, because of where they are, they struggle sometimes to attract players. I just get worried about how much it'll set Canberra back. And the game needs a strong Canberra Raiders.
Just quickly, before we run out of time, will Sam Walker stay the course at the Roosters after this news that he's been dropped this week?
Chamis?
Oh, I think he will. The rumblings in the background, I don't think they're going to affect his prospects going forward, unless the family are upset and then Sam wants to leave. But I think the Roosters want to stay the course with Sam Walker. I think they think he's a 20-year-old halfback who can develop a lot over the coming years, and their best option right now is Joey Manu at 6 and Keary at 7. I don't think this is the end of Sam Walker. What happens next will be on Sam Walker, and if his family and he are upset with the club, then perhaps things will move in a different way. But the Roosters don't want Sam Walker out.
How does he get back into the team now? If Joey Manu kills it at 6 and Keary stays fit and keeps playing, what's his path
in the
back
short
into the
term?
team?
No, there isn't.
Well, there isn't. Probably
he's only 20.
He's only 20.
I know that, but I'm just saying, is he going to be willing to potentially...
It's a 20-year-old halfback who's been dropped.
He's a 20-year-old halfback.
Drama queens in the media have just beaten this up all week.
Is he going to be happy to...
But he's also someone who's been... He's been in
I know, I understand.
camp.
I understand.
Yeah.
But look, he's got a long way to go.
Is he going to be happy to sit potentially in New South Wales Cup and get the occasional game for the next year and a half? Because Luke Keary's on contract for another year. Joey Manu's not going anywhere. Is he going to be happy to do that?
If it goes that long, he won't.
Are his family going to be happy for him to do that?
No, if it
Probably
goes that
not.
long, he won't.
Drama.
Drama, maybe.
Lots of drama.
You said there was no drama.
All right, great to have you all on. Appreciate it. Always great discussion, touching on all the hot topics of rugby league.